Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
Live pictures from a neighborhood in Dearborn Heights. It is really dark and mostly quiet aside from the hum of generators as people wait for their electricity to be restored. At this hour, the number is 346,762 customers. That's still a lot of DTE customers without power. It is about 100,000 fewer than earlier this afternoon when a top DTE executive said their goal for tonight would be 90% of customers getting their power back. Good evening. I'm Devin Skillian. Good to have you with us at 11. Kimberly Gill is off tonight. Work continues at Restoration this evening, but progress was slowed with the high winds that snapped lines in our north zone overnight, and that meant a good portion of today has been spent going back to secure and shut down more of those live wires. Mara McDonald is live in Dearborn Heights tonight. Mara, DTE tells us those lines have been secured and taped off, but not surprisingly, Restoration has gotten a bit of a boost from that.
It has, Devin. I mean, let's be clear. There has been progress that is made here. The problem, however, is that you still have several 100,000 people who do not have power right now. You know, normally I would say, let me show you something. Well, it's so dark out here I can't. So instead, why don't we all just take a listen for a second here? DTE crews on the move tonight as restoration efforts continue, but frustrations, already pretty high today all over the metro, are really, the colder it gets tonight, reaching a boiling point.
DTE needs to understand that not everybody is going to leave their houses. I have little dogs. I'm not leaving them here alone to freeze.
Pam Foster got through Wednesday's storm just fine. It was Thursday early in the morning hours when their power went out, and the current restoration expected isn't until Monday. She's had it. They have seen no linemen in the area but a DTE pickup truck scouting. She's frustrated, she's cold, and she's worried her pipes are going to burst.
They should be ashamed of themselves. There's no excuse for this. I don't really know what you're doing, but if you don't have enough people, then go to another state or something, because in Michigan, we need power.
Back here alive, Pam's thoughts on this, she's not alone, and it is not simply people who are on streets like this tonight that have no power. There have been members of our congressional delegation, and there have been members of the state legislature that have been pretty vocal on social media over the last 48 hours about how displeased they are with DTE's performance. We're live in Dearborn Heights tonight. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
To the hum of all those generators we can hear behind you. All right, Mara, let's figure out exactly what we've got ahead of us for the weekend. That cold snap moved in. Brian Sherman in tonight for Kim Adams with more. Brian?
Hey there, Devin. Good evening, everyone. Unfortunately, more winter weather is heading our way. Snow moves in overnight tonight and into early tomorrow morning. Exact Track 40 radar, some of that light snow falling to the south and west of Lansing and Jackson. Some steadier snow down in northwestern Ohio tonight. Expect this to move off to the north and east and overspread southeastern Michigan through the overnight hours tonight into early tomorrow morning, and anything that falls will stick. We're down to 19 right now, Mount Clemens, same in Pontiac, 22 right now at Metro Airport, and 24 as you're working over into Howell. What sunshine we did have today, clouds are quickly increasing, and that snow will be moving in over the next 2 to 3 hours. So I'd say after 2 to 3 o'clock tomorrow morning through mid tomorrow morning, we start off with that snow, but we go above freezing by tomorrow afternoon, upper 30s with some late day sunshine on the way for tomorrow afternoon. I'll talk about how long the dry weather is going to last and a drastic warm up on the way by the end of the weekend. Your complete forewarned forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Also, a good time to download that forewarned weather app. Exact Track 4D, future track and weather alerts all in the palm of your hand. You can find it in your favorite app store. Just search WDIV.
The derailment of a Norfolk Southern train in East Palestine, Ohio, about 3 weeks ago, has suddenly sparked controversy here in Metro Detroit. Officials here say some of the toxic waste the train was carrying was quietly brought to Wayne County for disposal. Jacqueline Francis live with more on the locations and the rather fiery response tonight from Warren Evans, among others. Jacqueline.
Yeah, just as the news conference was ending tonight, U.S. Representative Debbie Dingell got a text from the EPA saying no more hazardous material will be coming to Wayne County. But what about the stuff that's already here, including the contaminated wastewater sent to this site in Romulus?
The outward effect of it looks like we're being sandbagged.
Wayne County Executive Warren Evans holding a news conference Friday evening after learning tons of contaminated dirt and liquid material from the East Palestine train derailment were delivered here.
Not knowing that they're coming, which way they're coming, how safe the trucks are that are coming, is something that has got us all very, very irritated.
The hazardous material is called vinyl chloride, a chemical known to cause cancer and can be lethal. The materials were sent to 2 different licensed hazardous waste sites in Wayne County, owned by the same company, U.S. Ecology, a deep well liquid injection site in Romulus, and a contaminated soil site in Belleville.
And I have health issues that I'm concerned about. I have issues about, environmental injustices in terms of what's going on there, and I think that's something that we should have heard about sooner.
Local officials say the train company, Norfolk Southern, made that call, taking them by surprise. The EPA has now taken over the derailment site, communicating directly with elected officials like Congresswoman Debbie Dingell.
From the governor on down, our job, and we will deliver on our job, is to ensure that those that we represent are safe and that no one ever again blindside everybody the way they did on the delivery of this material.
We've reached out to the company here multiple times, but have not heard back. In the meantime, one of the big questions now is what's going to be done with the materials already delivered, and can it be handled safely? That's what those elected officials are focused on. We'll continue to follow this story. Reporting live in Romulus, Jacqueline Francis, Local 4.
Some kind of development there. All right, Jacqueline. Tonight, construction season has arrived in southeast Michigan. Yes, it's February, but crews have been out closing ramps along a stretch of I-75 that is shut down this weekend. Both directions of I-75 will be closed between I-696 and Square Lake starting tonight at 11, so it should be closed right about now. Crews will be shifting traffic for the next phase of that massive rebuild project when the freeway reopens on Monday morning. All traffic between 696 and 13 Mile is going to be shifted to the northbound lanes, and the southbound ramps at 12 Mile, 11 Mile, and 696 will be closed for the duration of the construction season. Might want to allow yourself some extra time as you get used to what may be your new commute for a while. That's not all. Right now, the westbound lanes of I-696 are shut down from Telegraph out to 275. When that reopens Monday morning, the westbound lanes will have only 2 lanes open. This year, crews will be rebuilding the eastbound lanes from 275 to Evergreen. Then next year, it'll be the westbound lanes. That's a lot. A packed house tonight at St. Mary the Protectress Ukrainian Orthodox Cathedral in Southfield. Candles providing the only light at the prayer vigil, marking the 1 year since Russia began its invasion against Ukraine. Today, President Biden met virtually with the G7 leaders and the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to mark the anniversary of the Russian invasion. And the U.S. is launching a new round of sanctions against those supporting Russia's war. Also today, Secretary of State Antony Blinken addressed the UN Security Council to reaffirm the U.S. commitment to Ukraine as Putin's war rages now into year 2. Alice Barr with more from Washington.
Today in Ukraine, solemn remembrances of 1 year of war. 1 year of bombs and bunkers, of children ripped from their parents, and soldiers and civilians fighting on the front lines. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky declaring his people have proven invincible, persevering against Russian forces many thought would quickly take over the country, insisting instead that Ukraine can win the war this year if allies stay united like a fist and keep delivering weapons. Just as they did right after Russia invaded, President Biden meeting virtually today with G7 allies and with President Zelensky. The Allies announcing new sanctions on 200 people and companies financing Russia's war machine, along with more restrictions on exports to Russia and higher tariffs on Russian imports. The Biden administration pledging a new $2 billion package of security assistance and high-tech military equipment, though stopping short of the fighter jets Ukraine has been pressing for.
What we are focused on is this counteroffensive where tanks and infantry fighting vehicles are the central issue. Fighter jets are a question for another day.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken at a UN Security Council meeting rallying allies to stay in the fight.
If we abandon Ukraine, we abandon the UN Charter itself and the principles and rules that make all countries safer.
Tributes around the globe demonstrating solidarity 1 year into a war with no end in sight. As allies rally, China is calling for a ceasefire and peace talks. But that comes after a top Chinese diplomat met this week with Russian President Vladimir Putin, indicating the two countries are ready to start strengthening ties. China is denying U.S. claims that the country is considering sending lethal weapons to Russia. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.